Yes, lad. So I did have a script on what I wanted to say and talk about, but I kind of just felt like I was just pretending to have information I was going to share and trying to make content just for the sake of making content. So I'm just going to go off the rip and see where we go now. And I think coming from one goal and achieving that goal and going to the next goal, I think in some terms I might have got a little bit lost in my identity and who I was. I was built on being disciplined. How you do anything is how you do everything. I was that character fully in. There was no room for me to be disciplined in this area and not disciplined in the other area. And although it didn't feel like it in the moment, I really think that's when I stopped making the absurd amount of progress that I was before, because I wasn't in line with how I do things. Now, I'm not saying being seriously disciplined is what works for everyone. If you look at some of the famous athletes, it clearly doesn't. But for me, that was when I was on fire. I was on fire in everything that I was doing, because all of my energy was implemented into being just the perfect environment for progressing, and I really enjoyed that. One of my favorite feelings is closing the distance between dreams and reality, and being super disciplined just gets you there so much quicker. And for me, it got me there so much quicker. And I think achieving a goal that seems ridiculously far away, it's so important to remember what you did for maybe some past goals and how you came about succeeding in them. So I remember that I was outrageously disciplined. People thought I was not crazy, but I was a young lad, but who was way more disciplined than other people. I was also pretty much delusional. I would just say things like, I remember I was doing I was in an elite program at my old school, and everyone else was kind of chillaxing. There's like 15 minutes left, and I hopped on a bike. I got seriously sweaty before my maths class, and then someone said, like, why are you doing that? I said, that's why I'm going to be great and you're not. And not in a disrespectful way, but I'm saying I just knew that I was every opportunity I had, I was going to take that opportunity to be great and to push for something. So remember what you did in your past goals and really embody that. And I think don't lose sight of that, because I figured out that worked for me, and I hadn't been implementing it in other areas of life. And then you see me, I was just average. I'm not expecting to be the finished product after 2 weeks, but the progress wasn't there. But also I was living that average lifestyle. I just knew that I was never going to succeed, even though I might have been saying it. So I think really giving like your whole self into something is so important in succeeding. And that moves on to then, do not get distracted from anything. A beautiful life could be solely focused on getting better, solely focused on family, solely focused on God, on the Lord, and being a godly man. And nothing else really matters, and nothing else is really going to give you any feeling of contentment, or feeling, it's not going to make you feel content. If you think about your day, you wake up, you might turn the telly on. There's no way you're telling me that telly is going to fulfill you. And you might say, oh, that's super like discipline, that's like bonkers. But if every single moment is spent on something that will fulfill you, that might seem like discipline, whether that is being better at what you're doing, fulfilling your purpose, your family, if every single moment, so you never watch TV ever again. If TV doesn't fulfill you and you never watch TV ever again, then you're not missing out on anything. And I think every time you distract yourself and watch TV or scroll or chase the dopamine of food, you're kind of just colouring grey pencils over a beautiful picture. You're just dulling life, because you're not feeling life to the fullest. You're not experiencing the beauty of life of every day. And also you're just being filled with nonsense that's just infecting your brain. Not in a dramatic way, but I think over time definitely in a dramatic way. But your brain is just, it's just there but not there. And so then you're there and not there. And then 20 years you're there and not there. You've wasted 20 years of life. When every single moment, every single breath could be put to something that is beautiful, that does fulfill you, and that is important. And then if you fully become that man of, this is important to me and this is what I'm going to do, you're never going to want to watch TV again, because it's just not important. It's not even going to cross your mind. And I think the goal for me now is to become that person where I'm Kai Whitworth. I know what works for me. I know what I'm shooting for, my purpose, my goals, my family. And I'm just going to live life completely on the life frequency and not the distraction frequency. Completely on the life frequency and never on the distraction frequency. And I think that's surely the way to live life. Because if you think about anything, if you're sometimes on the frequency and sometimes not, you're not going to get the benefits from it. If you're trying to... I always think about this, and this also pairs to, you've got to be fully in for God as well, because if you're half in, half out, you're not going to get the benefits. And I'm not saying you're following God for the benefits, but there are benefits, and it teaches you clearly how to live a beautiful life. Let's say you're trying to charge your phone. You keep unplugging it, and you keep using it then, or whatever. So you get to 20%. Oh, I'm going to use it now for half an hour. You get back down to 2%. Oh, I'm going to charge it again. If you're on and off and on and off and on and off, you're never going to charge your phone. And I'm not really talking about charging your phone, obviously, but I'm talking you're never going to get the benefit. Same way if your goal is to be a sprinter. I'm going to sprint for 6 months, then go play ice hockey for 6 months. I think you have to be all in. And the distractions, again, if you become that man who is fully living life, the beautiful life, you're not going to want the distractions. But also, you won't get any enjoyment from them. And I think right now is the hardest thing is I can think that clearly in my mind, but I still haven't let go of them, because I'm afraid of losing out on that entertainment, let's just say. But I'm also afraid of the in-between, where there are going to be days where you don't feel anything. You don't because if you ever get that, you feel down, just have a chocolate bar, you get that instant spike of dopamine. So there might be days where I'm just sat doing nothing. Well, obviously, yes, I'm just sat, let's just say, and some people, including myself, can be scared of those 2 hours where you're just alone with your thoughts. Because one, you're going to be bored, and two, you have no way to dull it, numb it, or get that spike of dopamine. But that is how you live life, the beautiful life. And you also recharge your dopamine to the point where you do feel, full with joyfulness just on the menial things, and you can sit alone with yourself. So when I think of this morning, or last night even, I was thinking, yeah, this is me, I'm fully Him. I'm fully living for the Lord. I'm fully living for my purpose. I'm fully living for being a good husband, father, family man, son, nephew. I go to bed, I'm psyched. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to let anything distract me from living the beautiful life. And then I wake up and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm on. Let me go read my Bible. Bible has the ultimate wisdom, by the way. If you want to succeed in anything, the Bible has ultimate truth and ultimate wisdom. So I'm reading my Bible. Yeah, oof. Putting my bed away. Making my bed. Yeah, oof. Alright, let me just eat food. Yeah. But I'm going to have to sit for half an hour with nothing while eating my food. Yeah, but that's what you said. You're going to be the fully man. You're going to be that full man living a life. Yeah, fine. Yeah. I told myself I'm going to do that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's be the fully Him. I'm sitting there. Yeah, but what's half an hour of telly gonna do, Let's just pop it on. So then I pop it on. Yeah. But that half an hour, yeah, I enjoyed watching the TV, but the TV didn't give me any good information. I was watching At Home with Tyson Fury. But also, afterwards, one, I was almost late for church. But also, after watching it, I realised there's a bit of mess on the floor. I could have been hoovering. I could have been learning my French again. Or I could have just been texting my mates and seeing how they're going. And there's all these little moments and opportunities that you miss to actually live the beautiful life, live the full life where you're not distracted by anything. So to end and round off this video, my goal is to live fully the beautiful life, undistracted, fully committed to God, to my purpose, to my family, to becoming financially free, and being able to help people reach their goals too, and become the man that they can become, their best self. Because remember, there's nothing better than your best self. You can't beat it. So that is the goal. So yeah, the goal is to just get rid of all distractions and leap towards it and live life, bro.